The Most Successful Small Business in the World is a 2010 book written by Michael Gerber. The book is for people who own or run a small business which they are intending on growing, and for entrepreneurs who need to think about how they start their business venture. The book is written in 10 major chapters that represent 10 principles which the author believes are important to follow in order to have a growing business. Chapter 1. The first principle. A small business built rightly can grow 10,000 times its current size. The chapter begins by addressing the idea that a majority of companies are made and run by one or two people. The biggest companies that we know of are run by teams, but they are fewer in number. Scalability is an important concept to grasp within this context. However, the majority of businesses don't have scalability. They are run and managed by one or two people, and they remain this way because they cannot be scaled up. This is okay in some ways, but not if you're intending to sell your business or to grow it exponentially. Creating meaning in your work, meaning that transcends the work itself. We need to think beyond just a 9-to-5 task of work. We need to ask questions about what makes our work unique, how can it reach into our communities more, and what niches it can fill. Not only this, but how can we rise above our work and have it multiply in front of us so that we may not have to work. This last step is difficult and will require a lot of reflection. Chapter 2. The second principle. A small business is no more effective than the idea upon which it is built. We need to give room for ideas to germinate and grow over time. This requires time to capture and reflect on these ideas. These ideas need to be related to other ideas. Then connections can be made and a fruitful idea can flourish. Chapter 3. The third principle. A small business is a system in which all parts contribute to the success or failure of the whole. A business is a system. If you want to delve more into systems theory, then I would encourage you to do so. You won't find the intricacies of systems theory in this book. Understanding systems and how they are built, interact with the world, and their dynamics is a field of study much greater than this book. There are different parts of a business that interact and they must coordinate well. There are many tweaks and tune-ups that are needed across the business. In order for a business to grow, the parts will change. Some will fall out of use, others will be added. It's important to get an idea of how things interact and spot issues like bottlenecks. On top of this, what are the parts that are outside of the business that are interacting with the inside of the business? How can we tune our business system to work best with the parts outside of the business? Parts outside of the business are entities like customers and suppliers. Focusing on the outside parts will mean you deliver value to outside entities. This chapter essentially comprises of several large lists that can't be covered in this video, but I'll break them down. There are at least 5 parts outside of the business. You have the consumer, you have competitors, channels of distribution, media channels, and financial channels. Parts inside of the business include the strategic parts, which are overseen by the CEO for strategy, the CMO for marketing, the CFO for financial, and the COO for operations. The tactical parts, these are the actual running of everyday business things. You have the marketing, the operations, and the financial parts. And then you have the incremental parts, which is the actual work done by the workers. The chapter ends with a consumer identification startup matrix, which lists key needs for several age groups and what they are often requiring to be fulfilled as a group. Chapter 4. The fourth principle. A small business must be sustainable through all economic conditions, in all markets, providing meaningful, highly differentiated results to all of its customers. This chapter is essentially a short list of requirements and steps. Step 1. Choose the ordinary. What do people need every day? What is a stable niche that will remain for all time? For example, food, water, and shelter. Step 2. Constantly improve. Be flexible with the times and prepare. Step 3. Listen to the customer. Where can you add more value to them? Give them the convenience they want and they'll pay for it. Step 4. Respond to what you hear, see, and feel from the customer. Be highly observant and ask questions. Step 5. Set the highest standards. Step 6. Write the exquisite story. What is the history and legacy of the company? What are its goals and ambitions? Let this story be heard. It is a vision for the people working for the company. And step 7. Live your story. Who are the people of your company? Chapter 5. The fifth principle. A small business is a school in which its employees are students with the intention, will, and determination to grow. This principle relates to the idea in the book The Fifth Discipline by Peter Singh. We need to create the right people, and to do this we need to make sure they are asking the right questions. Ask a lot of questions about the business and what it means from various angles and levels, and question everything about the business, the designs, and what it means for the customer and for the people that work in the business. Chapter 6. The sixth principle. A small business must manifest the higher purpose upon which it was seeded, the vision it was meant to exemplify, the mission it was intended to fulfill. The old paradigm of entrepreneurship is to fulfill a need or want for a customer. Once the purchase has been made, then the deal is over. Gerber motivates us to think further and to base our ideas on something greater. We should be designing products and services that enhance our clients. When we bring value to our communities, they can build themselves up. They will then live better and be stronger clients. Gerber proposes 5 steps for reaching a higher purpose. Step 1. Awakening. We need awareness of ourselves and our surroundings. Step 4. Discovering. Find out what there is about yourself and others. Step 3. Experiencing. View the dynamics of yourself and surroundings, continually observe and be a part of the system. Step 4. Internalizing. Reflect on what you have gathered so far and get in tune with the system. Step 5. Becoming. Be a process. Chapter 7. The seventh principle. A small business is the fruit of a higher aim in the mind of the person who conceived it. The seventh principle is about creating a desire or a passion so great that you are highly compelled to follow it. Jordan Peterson would say, you need to make a heaven to strive towards and a hell to run from. If you have a dream that you are so passionate about that you want to take action, then that is a dream that you will fulfill. Gerber claims that in order to have a successful small business, it needs to be a business you are actually passionate about. You need to find that calling you desire, and desire taking action on and learning about. Chapter 8. The eighth principle. A small business possesses a life of its own in the service of God, in whom it finds reason. This chapter is similar to the one before it. Chapter 9. The ninth principle. A small business is an economic entity, driving an economic reality, creating an economic certainty for the communities in which it thrives. This chapter points out that money is a driver of the activities of your business, but it isn't the reason for your business. Chapter 10. The 10th principle. A small business creates a standard against which all small businesses are measured as either successful or not, to upgrade the possibility for all small businesses to strive beyond the standards that formerly existed, whether stated or not. This chapter outlines several standards that go beyond what a normal business would strive for. A normal business works towards the following standards: visual standards, emotional standards, functional standards, and financial standards. The business that goes beyond strives for more. It also aims towards spiritual standards, incorporating higher reasons and powers into the life of your business. Ethical standards. There are rules that the business imposes upon itself and how it conducts actions or inactions. And philosophical standards. The business acts in ways that points towards ideals that it is following. Conclusion. The writer goes on small tangents every once in a while, which is distracting from the message for each chapter. The way the chapters are written are almost like a narrative and a stream of consciousness. It is relatively easy to read, but the format is less informative than I was expecting. At the very least, this book is a quick read and has some entertainment value. There are some good lists as references in Chapter 3. Chapter 6 to 10 could have been made into one chapter. It feels as if the author wanted to stretch the principles into 10 for the sake of reaching that number. The author's thinly veiled attempt at censoring the word God comes off as disingenuous. We all know what word he's using, and he uses the word a lot, so why not just use the word? There's also some political pontification in Chapter 8 to 10, which could have been left out. In short, this book lacks focus at different levels. There are more informative books out there compared to this one, such as Josh Kaufman's Personal MBA. Thank you for listening.